on here quite a bit, right? I've seen it in a few times. I think now that Stafford's off the board, what is the best plausible move at QB for the 49ers? So the Niners are kind of stuck here, right? I mean, we're talking about there we go. We're talking about a bunch of different moves that they could make, but look, now at this point, people throw out the idea of Sam Darnold and all of that. I mean, we did a video on it. I don't want to reiterate my opinions on it. If you want to check it out, we go to our channel. There's a video on how we feel about Sam Darnold. But here's the thing. You have 3 top 12 quarterbacks in your division. So, yeah, you can get a little better than Jimmy Garoppolo, but is that going to put you over the top in your division? I don't think so, because you need a quarterback that can go head-to-head with Matthew Stafford, that can go head-to-head with Kyler Murray, that can go head-to-head with Russell Wilson, or at least hold its own with when Kyle Shanahan schemes it up, right? So you need a top 15 type guy. And that's what I would think. And, Kirk Cousins would fit that mold. I don't think Kirk Cousins is available, and I don't want Kirk Cousins to be the quarterback for the team I cheer for. I'm going to always say Kirk Cousins is underrated, and I think he's a good player, but I'm never going to sit here and say I want Kirk Cousins for the team I cheer for. And so I think that what I'm zeroing in on, right, it's like I'm going through like the stages of grief because I was so convinced that this was the move for the 49ers. As you guys know, I've been talking about Matthew Stafford since the first time I ever did anything like this, and that was with Grant. And I've started off. Blake knows I've been talking about Matthew Stafford since last May, so I've been all over that one. And what I'm coming to is I would like 2 things. One would obviously be Deshaun Watson. The price is steep. The contract is steep, but at this point, I think the Niners have to be a little desperate because they have a win-now team with a closing window and a division that looks super steep. So I think that making the power move for Deshaun Watson would be huge, and who wouldn't want Deshaun Watson on the team they cheer for? I mean, he epitomizes a franchise quarterback. I think the other move that I would like, and I think that this is what I'm coming to more and more, is when I look at the quarterbacks in the draft, to me, I don't think that Trey Lance is worth the pick at 12. I just think that there's too much with him that is a little raw for my liking. Yeah. And I like Trey Lance. I think he's a really great runner. I think he has a lot of potential as a passer. I think a lot of the stuff he did at North Dakota State is translatable to this offense. I just think that if they could trade down and draft Trey Lance, it would be more than ideal. To me, I'm zeroing in on the idea. I would like the Niners to be aggressive and go up and get a Justin Fields or Zach Wilson. Now, is that possible? Probably not. I mean, I think that they're in kind of a damn if you do, damn if you don't move, because they don't want to overpay. But at this point, if you're going to get a quarterback, or you're going to get a quarterback that you think is going to be a top 12 guy, you're going to have to overpay. And this is kind of my problem with fans across sports, okay? All I hear all the time is fans want to throw out this idealistic reality of you do whatever you can to go get your quarterback. And then a team like the Rams does whatever they can to go get their quarterback, and people say they overpaid. There's something not adding up there. If you do whatever you can to go get your quarterback, that means whatever price you pay is going to be an overpay, because that's the reality of the business. The quarterback is valued so highly in the NFL that any person that goes and gets their quarterback is going to overpay for their said quarterback. Mm-hmm. So I think that the Niners are in a really sticky spot. I think that would be what I would like, but ultimately I'm not totally against. I'm rounding out to running it back with Jimmy and getting a different guy. Now, I think that team would have a very defined ceiling, and I think that you have to hope Jimmy stays healthy. And because the unfortunate reality of it is I don't ever call players injury prone, because I don't even know what that means. Like, how can you say there's no scientific?
There's only one. There's only one, and that's Jordan Reed.
No,
I think you can label him as injury prone.
But the thing is, there's nothing scientifically wrong with Jordan Reed's body causes him to get. It's a mixture of luck and opportunity. And it's all of that. So, like Thomas Davis, remember, he was injury prone for 4 years, and then he played 5 years without ever missing a game. So I don't ever want to label a player that, but for whatever reason, Jimmy seems to be getting himself hurt, and so we'll see if he stays healthy. I hope to have more clarity on this situation soon, but right now that's where I'm at. I just dumped all my thoughts on there. I don't know if you could follow.
So I agree it's a win now roster, and I think the most ideal quarterback if they do get rid of Jimmy would probably be Matt Ryan. The Falcons have said they're not looking to trade him, so that's like kind of the main issue. They looks like they might draft a quarterback and then just have him sit for a year behind Ryan. But if Matt Ryan were available, I think he'd probably be the best that they could get. And even then, would it be enough? Is he still that good? He is getting up there in age. I think he's 35 or 36.
He's 36.
Yeah. So he's up there in age, but he'd probably be the best guy that could potentially get traded. But yeah, even then, it's still kind of tough.
So with Ryan, the Niners wouldn't be able to take his contract, and I don't think the Falcons would eat that dead money. We're seeing the Eagles and the Rams do it with Goff and Wentz, but I think the Falcons are pretty contented with Ryan. And I think that the hiring of Arthur Smith was as much of maximizing Matt Ryan for at least a year or two as it was to just get a new coach and all of that. I think if they wanted to rebuild and tear the whole thing apart, they would have hired a guy. Right, and not an offensive play caller who runs a system similar to what Matt Ryan has had the most success in his career with. So that's one thing for me. And then the other thing for me is with Matt Ryan, I think trading him post June 1st is the best possibility. And because the Falcons have so much dead money with him, and I don't know if the Niners can wait around for Matt Ryan post June 1st and play that game. It's really dangerous because I think Jimmy Garoppolo, you can't cut him for $2.4 million post June 1st anymore. I'm not sure. I have to look that up. Don't call me on that. I am not sure on that, but that's just my guess.
Yeah. And, Matt Ryan would be like the only guy who you could put a rationale that would probably be the best guy that they could trade for. Like Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson, like, there's news with them, but it's all just talking heads. They're not leaving their teams, right? But with Matt Ryan, you see the incentive on both teams to actually get a deal done. But from what we've seen by the Falcons, they've said they want to keep Julio and they want to keep Ryan. They want to just maybe for the locker room, I don't know. It's interesting, but